Welcome to this morsel of the Red Pill Sports and Entertainment Show. I am your host, Albert Apache, and as usual, brought to you by Open Source, Self Defense, Fitness, and Grappling. Okay, guys, saw this story about 2 days ago, but I was looking for a really good article, something that, that I could post into the description box and allow you to read yourself. So, I was looking for something that put in all the details I was interested in so we could talk. So, as you know, Deshaun is in a lot of trouble for some things that allegedly happened with some massage therapists sexually assaulting them, allegedly. Um, so, Deshaun and his team massage therapists that are essentially making statements. I guess they are willing to testify that that was not their experience with Deshaun Watson. That, as a matter of fact, he was very polite and completely appropriate, respectful. Um, and what I liked about this particular article, so that you can read through it, is it actually has their statements and it has the name of the person who made the statement. Now, this is really big that these people have not just come forward, that these massage therapists have come forward. It looks like they're females, all of them. There's one name in there that I wasn't sure is that a male or female name, but I'm assuming it's a female. Otherwise, I don't know how that would really make a difference for Deshaun. But anyhow, um, this is really important that these massage therapists have come forward, and it is a good thing for Deshaun Watson because it does counter the narrative that Tony Busby, the lawyer that's going after Deshaun right now, that's representing the accusers. Uh, it's really counters his argument, or at least the picture, the narrative that he's trying to paint, which is Deshaun is some kind of pathological, obsessive, uh, you know, uh, predator that has, a compulsive uh, desire to uh, do this, right? Like that's kind of the nature, or the picture, excuse me, that and the narrative that he's trying to paint. So the fact that these 18 other massage therapists have come forward is very important for Deshaun because it really breaks that narrative. It basically says, it throws up in the face that, like, look, you're trying to say, like, you're trying to make it sound as if everybody I've ever interacted with who's a massage therapist who happens to be female, that if I got them alone, I'm trying to essentially assault them, and that's just not the case. It's also important that these massage therapists attach their names to it because that means that they're trying to be completely transparent. Everybody's trying to be upfront, whereas everybody's being um, anonymous on the other side. I did make note, and I still think it's very, very interesting that the way that this is being done and the way this is being investigated has been completely backwards. Completely backwards. Okay? Uh, essentially, essentially, um, to hear it from Deshaun's side, and we know there are certain parts that do actually match up with what Deshaun is saying, is that apparently there was a massage therapist that came to Deshaun, or his people contacted him, or his people asking for money, or she would, you know, say something to somebody, go to the police or whatever, threatening him, trying essentially like blackmailing him. Deshaun did not give that person money. Then Tony Busby announces via Twitter that he's filing a civil lawsuit for some massage therapist that accuses Deshaun Watson of sexual assault. I told you that that is relatively backwards, right? That's generally not how that happens, right? And then it went into, well, if, now that we have a number of women, we're going to turn over these statements to the authorities, and we're going to ask that, the authorities do a criminal investigation. That's generally the backwards way of doing things. Okay. Um, Generally speaking, what happens is there's an accuser, they go to the authorities do their criminal investigation, they turn over their evidence to the civil attorneys. Uh, should a criminal investigation, should they want to uh, do a civil lawsuit as well as, whatever happens in the criminal case. That's generally what happens. It doesn't go the other way around. Okay? So I've already raised that concern. So now what's happening is that you're seeing that these 18 massage therapists are coming forward for Deshaun. This should be a good thing for Deshaun. But you're already hearing um, the naysayers. Now, generally, I agree with Clay Travis on a lot of things. However, this is one of the stories where I disagree with Clay Travis. Clay Travis says that it doesn't really help Deshaun because now the number of massage therapists in total, okay, that Deshaun has interacted with, is 40 plus. And it starts to ask the question, who has 40 plus massage therapists work on them? Well, I mean, I think that that's ridiculous. It, it that is a ridiculous argument. And I also heard some other places making that same argument. So I believe that the mainstream media is going to pick up their coverage on this particular story because I think it's been decided that they are going to take the side of the women in this particular case, and they're going to try and throw Deshaun under the bus. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that coming out probably either today, Friday, the second, or after the weekend on Monday. Don't be surprised if it starts to ramp up. The story starts to ramp up, and this is some of the narrative. Next, Clay also says something like, does it really matter if he brings 18 people forward? Doesn't help him in the court, yada yada yada, because this, that, and the other. And he and his guest kind of used an analogy about O.J. Simpson and said, well, did it matter if you brought in 20 people that said, hey, he didn't murder me? No, it wouldn't help. Well, absolutely, Clay and his guest are completely right on that. And yes, Clay is a lawyer, or went to law school, and so did his guest. That being said, um, I think what Clay has to understand is two things. Number one, this right now is not in a criminal court. It isn't even in a civil court. Right now, this is in the court of public opinion. And absolutely bringing forward 18 individuals, a number that is approximate to the same number of accusers in the same kind of situation, okay, basically within the same profile, stating that no, Deshaun Watson is not an abuser. He is not somebody who is a sexual predator. That is important to Deshaun Watson. You have to remember, Deshaun still needs to think about his career beyond just throwing a football. Deshaun Watson has to think about his career as far as marketing. How many deals is this going to lose Deshaun Watson? Endorsement deals. So Deshaun and his team have to do some type of damage control when it comes to the court of public opinion. That's number one. Number two, yes, Clay is absolutely right that if you brought forward 20 random individuals to say, hey, O.J. Simpson didn't murder me, it doesn't help O.J. Now, when his defense puts forward, let's say, in this case, let's now change this to Deshaun. If this were to go to a civil court, if this were to go to a criminal court, when they're trying to paint the picture of Deshaun as this sexual predator that has this obsessive, compulsive, uh, you know, behavior, pattern of behavior of preying on women, particularly massage therapists, when he gets them alone in a room, it's going to be hard to continue that narrative when you have 18 other individuals that fit the exact same profile that can sit there and rebuke that and say no. They can offer a rebuttal and say no, that did not happen to me. As a matter of fact, this and this happened. When did you see? Oh, these incidences, these sessions that I've had with these massage therapists happen to fall in the same time frame as these accusers say that Deshaun assaulted them. They're sprinkled throughout. If that's the case with the timeline, it raises doubt. Okay? It raises doubt. So it's not, you got to compare apples to apples. So when they make that argument, well, it's like bringing in 20 people who say, well, he didn't do it to me. Well, yeah, 20 random people. But do they fit the same profile as the person that you're saying was, abused or assaulted? Okay? I mean, if you have 20 men massage therapists that get up there, even, let's just be real about it. 20 men massage therapists could get up, 40 men, 50 men, 50 male massage therapists could get up there and be like, well, he didn't sexually assault me. Yeah. Okay. That's not the same profile. But when it's 18 other female massage therapists that were alone with Deshaun Watson and worked on Deshaun Watson, and he did not sexually assault them, now that starts to break the idea that this is a pattern of behavior. Now, does that mean that Deshaun didn't do these things? Absolutely not. It doesn't mean that he didn't do those things. What I'm saying is it breaks that narrative. So there has to be now another narrative, another picture painted of Deshaun Watson. And this is particularly true in the court of public opinion. So I think this was really big for Deshaun and his team. And I think it was smart for him and his team to put it out there. We've already seen, we've talked a little bit about Ezekiel Elliott when we revisited that when I first did a episode about this. The reality is that most likely Deshaun's serving his suspension no matter what. And it doesn't matter if he did it or he didn't do it or what evidence is found to the contrary. So this is very, very important for Deshaun Watson. I don't know if he did it. I'm going to wait to see where the chips fall. I'm just saying that it raises red flags with me that the process that was used here seems very backwards. The process that was used here smells of trying to be a payday. Okay, it just does. It smells of a payday, looking for a payday, and because of that, I think that it's very smart for Deshaun Watson to have brought forth these people. This also is going to push Tony Busby, because he knows that's going to break his narrative now, and he's a smart lawyer. He's a good lawyer. He's going to vet these people. He's going to look into their past, see if they really did work with Deshaun. If he finds out that this is true, the likelihood that the civil case gets settled rather than going to civil court gets bumped up. So it's more likely that this will help drive to a settlement. Part of that settlement, rightly or wrongly, we may never know what actually happened. Rightly or wrongly, that settlement will probably include that some type of gag order including, you know, not talking to authorities about, uh, those that get paid out, the accusers, essentially dropping any kind of criminal investigation, not cooperating, essentially. Yeah, there's some kind of, I'm sure, legal lingo for it, but essentially something to that nature. They're probably going to walk away from it. And I'm sorry, but from the very get go, this smelled like a money grab. Now, that doesn't mean that he didn't do it. I'm just saying that's what it smelled like to me. I would be very interested to see how this plays out, but that's what we got, guys. Okay, man. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for this segment, and then we will move on. Okay, guys, really quick, gonna add this on to the red pill morsel. Check it out. So, just about 6 hours ago, Jon Jones posted on his Twitter, I just had a great dinner and the best conversation I've had with Dana in a very long time. We got the deal done. Date to be announced soon. So, did Jon Jones get this deal done? Or if you start to scroll and look at a couple of his posts after that, he says it's about 12:42 here in Albuquerque. Why would that be important? Continue to scroll. About 6 hours ago, that would be about, close to the same time as the last two posts. Hope you guys had a good April Fool's. So, was this a April Fool's joke, or did they get the deal done? Um, I'm still not 100% sure. I guess we'll know today. But you also had this post as well. Had an absolutely brilliant coaches meeting today. I'm excited to take my capabilities to the next level. So, does that mean that he had a coaches meeting, and because they did get the deal done, although he said he had a great dinner, so maybe just happenstance. Uh, what I do find interesting here is two things. Number one, if they got the deal done, uh, I think that Jon Jones, sense of humor is great in this instance. But what I find of note here is that Greg Jackson's not in this photo. Um, Personally, this is my personal opinion. Um, you know, all of these coaches, uh, are good coaches. I'm not going to say they're not good coaches. That being said, I really always felt like Greg Jackson was the tactician of that team. He was the one that really broke down and put together the game plans, um, in ways that were uh, the best for the fighters. Um, I've always appreciated the way that Greg Jackson corners his guys. Very calm, very uh, stoic, right? Okay, breathe. Okay, breathe. Very good, John. Now, we know that this, and this. So when we go in there, I need to see this, and this. Okay? Okay, good. Breathe. Breathe. Drink some water when you need to. Okay. So, and a very, like I said, I love the way he corners. A very calming presence in the corner of his fighters. Seems to know exactly how to communicate with his fighters in the corner. Um, and if we're going to be honest, you know, we've seen that Jackson's has not had the same kind of success. The Jackson's Winklejohn camp has not had the same kind of success that we've seen in the past. And Little by little, if you've noticed, we've seen a little less and less of Greg Jackson. Now, does that mean that Greg is stepped away completely? I mean, he's not involved day to day. Does that mean I have no idea? I don't fight out of Greg Jackson's camp. I'm not there every day. I no longer live in Albuquerque. Um, but what I hear through the grapevine, right? The fighting community, the jiu-jitsu community is very small. Um, what I hear through the grapevine is that you know, Greg has it doesn't seem to be as involved, and that it's not just in my perception. Like other people have noticed, you know, noticed that he hasn't been in corners and things like that as well during, for certain fighters. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if Greg not being in this picture means that he's not going to be participating in this camp should it happen. I personally feel like that would be a component that Jon Jones would definitely want should he fight Ngannou. He would definitely want Greg Jackson helping him put together a game plan, breaking down tape, and there to coach him through that particular process. That's what I think. But that's my personal opinion. That's what I got, guys. You guys have a great, great day. Remember, be practical, be purposeful, get fit with a purpose, guys.